What happened on Saturday for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix? There's Max.
Oh, he stopped.
He's slowing down. Why is he slowing down? Has he got a problem?
He's stopping. No way.
Has he got... Ah!
Oh, he's got a problem. He has.
Oh, he's got a problem!
No way. He's out. Oh my God. That has made the race amazing if he's out.
Oh, yeah, his gearbox.
God.
That's his gearbox.
What a spicy race if he's starting 14th. Or worse, starting last.
Oh, my God, he's out the car.
Oh my God.
Max Verstappen will start 15th. The championship is back on. Oh, dearie me. It feels like a long time. Now, I'm not necessarily celebrating Max Verstappen's mechanical issue. However, I feel like for the greater good of this championship, and also by the fact that as a Ferrari fan, it wasn't something going wrong for us in a session, that you can't help but feel a little bit excited going into tomorrow, can you, Tommy?
Great for the race. It's made it a lot more exciting, even as a Max fan. If it keeps happening, we'll see. But it's made the race much more exciting.
I can understand how you're like, it's fine. Even Max, right, in the post-quali interview, sounded incredibly calm for a man that was starting 15th and had just come out the car after a broken drive shaft. So that's ominous in itself. We put a poll out actually only 40 minutes ago, and over 5,000 of you have voted about, does Max still win tomorrow? And 65% of you have said, yes, he will, which is an absolutely ridiculous amount of people that believe that Max will win from 15th on the grid when his teammate in the same car is on pole position. Now, I am not of the opinion, if we don't get a crazy race with crazy amount of safety cars that jostle up the field and change the complexion of the race, that I don't think he'll beat Perez personally. If we have zero safety cars, I am not of the opinion that he beats Perez. He will have to rely potentially on starting on the hard tyres, looking to go long in the race, and then hoping for a perfectly timed safety car. Maybe that's the way to go tomorrow. But it's still going to be fascinating nonetheless. And if he does win from 15th, then just give him the title now, because it would be one of, if not his best drive.
One thing that could be quite an interesting thing to throw into the mix is that he's got Charles Leclerc, who's going to be starting down in 12th. So not an easy car to pass, if you like. So that's kind of not that far in front of him. So that could potentially hinder his progress. But
however, have you seen how fast they are in a straight line?
Yes, that is also true. So maybe he does breeze past, but it could be fascinating. I'm going to throw some spice into the mix.
Ooh.
What do you think would happen if Max Verstappen does fly through the field, gets on the back of Perez? Now, we've seen it before where Sergio has been asked to move over, but that was when there was a big fight and they knew that they had to get maximum points against, say, like Ferrari. Now they've got no competition. What do they do?
So you see these, Tommy? They're called, for audio listeners, elbows. Perez is not going to let him through. There's no hope in hell. He'll have Brazil ringing in his ears. Yeah. It's too early in the championship. Perez, and he can absolutely stake his claim to that as well. Like, he genuinely has all the right in the world to defend first position, and I can't wait to see it, because I think it only needs one incident between those two, and I think it genuinely could be like a nuclear bomb going off. I would be fascinated to see if Verstappen does rock up to the back of Perez, because it could be an interesting battle to watch, but I do not think in any world Perez lets him through.
I'm going to throw another. I'm throwing a lot of spice into the mix here. If it's the case this season where the Red Bull are so far clear, and essentially Sergio Perez doesn't really have to do a lot, and he can always pick up second places, and if Max has problems, wins. If Max keeps having failures, could Perez do a bit of a Nico Rosberg and pinch the title?
Good Lord. But no, I think it's far too early to suggest Sergio Perez can challenge for the title. I think that he's going to have to show more pace just in general compared to Max. He hasn't been that close at the start of this year, realistically. It's going to require a lot of Max Verstappen DNFs in order for Checo, I think, to have a chance. But look, the 23-0 season is in jeopardy already for Max Verstappen, which is what some people, including myself, thought was possible. But 2 races in, it's a problem.
Yeah, it could be absolute fireworks if those two are out in front, and it's realistically the only thing that can stop them are each other.
Let's talk about Charles Leclerc very quickly. Of course, he has a penalty. Don't want to talk about it. Don't care. He had an amazing qualifying. To get within a tenth and a half of Perez. I've seen a few comments on Twitter saying, well, that would have been 6 tenths to pole had Verstappen actually taken part in the session, and that's a very fair point. But he was still half a second clear of Sainz, which is a gargantuan amount when you think that Sainz has been a lot closer to Leclerc in recent times, and especially in qualifying. He has been quite close to the Monegasque, but a sensational performance from Charles Leclerc to stick at P2. It's going to be P12 for the race. Where can he end up? I'm not that hopeful, to be honest with you. The Ferrari definitely looks better in quali trim than in race trim. I don't even know if a top 5 is possible for Leclerc when you actually look at the cars around them. But we'll see. Let's keep our hopes up, eh?
Yeah, it was an unbelievable lap, has to be said. He's the only one that's anywhere near a Red Bull, and then everyone else is, nearly half a second back. Charles absolutely owning Sainz again is something I didn't expect. I thought Sainz would get his act together, and so far it does look like we're kind of very much the same of what we had last year.
Let's talk about the man that will be starting on the front row of the grid, Fernando Alonso. P3, of course, in qualifying, but with Leclerc getting dropped down, he will start from P2. And I am absolutely here for a Fernando Alonso send express into turns 1 and 2. There is there is a small chance of trying to do a ridiculous thing around the outside. Alonso, the only way he even remotely puts himself in the equation of winning the race is by getting ahead of Perez at the start.
It's going to be fascinating, his mindset of whether he goes, no, I want to keep picking up points, a win will eventually come, I've got a very good car this year, or if he goes, absolutely not, I'm sending it and I want to win, I've missed this, it's been 84 years and I need to get a win again. I'm hoping for the latter because that would make it a fascinating race.
It would. GameChanger_08. Do you think Aston Martin has the race pace to compete with Red Bull tomorrow? What are the chances for Alonso to win tomorrow? 0%. Unless Perez ends up in the wall. And even then, Verstappen, I think, would win if Perez ends up in the wall. So, but if both Red Bulls have a problem, Alonso could win. Yes.
No, he's definitely best of the rest after best of the rest being the one team that are miles clear. But I think he's on for an easy podium, but he is going to need the Red Bulls to retire if he's going to get that win.
Next up, let's talk about George Russell, shall we? Great lap, nearly 4 tenths clear of Hamilton, and will start P3 after qualifying 4th today. It came out of nowhere, really, Russell. I thought that was a brilliant lap from him, just under 6 tenths behind Sergio Perez, which is not a bad effort for the Mercedes crew, and really has a good opportunity, potentially, to challenge Aston Martin tomorrow for a podium.
If you look at the gap between the guys that are going to be at the front, so Alonso, Russell, Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Hamilton, it's very close between all of them. So it's going to be fascinating for that potentially final podium spot, or 4th if we end up having another 2 Red Bulls and Alonso on the podium. Yeah, Russell, great performance, and has to be said, miles clear of Hamilton.
Another driver who did incredibly well was Oscar Piastri. He will start from 8th tomorrow, which is a fantastic job from him. His teammate made a mistake in Q1, Lando. He will start 19th. But Oscar Piastri, look, we said it already, I don't think it would come this quickly, especially at a track such as Saudi that needs some serious minerals and kahunas in order to get round that track with confidence. And he's done an amazing job, managing to just about scrape through to Q3, beat Pierre Gasly as well in that final session. And I think he can be very proud. He almost actually out-qualified Hamilton. He was only 200ths away from getting ahead of Hamilton as well, which would have been even more sensational. But Oscar can take a huge amount of confidence and happiness from this to know that, actually, yeah, I can mix it with the big boys. And I think it's already starting to silence some critics that he was not going to get anywhere near Lando Norris. He needed a bit of time. Bahrain didn't go great, but then he had problems as well. But the first time he's had a clean, trouble-free sort of session and weekend, it's gone really well.
But yeah, fair play Piastri. I would put him right up there in as one of the stars of qualifying. I think him and Charles, for me, probably the two stars of quali. So yeah, great. Just a confidence boost. Fingers crossed he has a good race as well.
Hell yeah. And I'm going to hit it straight out the park. Come join us, Matt P1 Tommy, tomorrow for our watch along. Thank you for watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on audio, lots of love. Thank you so much for the support as always. And we will see you tomorrow for more reflection. The funniest tweets, of course, will be coming out, as well as our podcast. And oh my goodness me, it's content galore. We'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.